guys, and welcome to another edition of Pro Wrestling Pulse. I'm J-Man, and for those of you who don't know, and for those of you who know, this is my father, Beat Eddie J, the former editor of the IWR show, was on a couple of shows we did on that channel, and now making his debut on the Pro Wrestling Pulse. It's good to have you, Father.
My life is complete.
On this edition of the Pro Wrestling Pulse, going to give you our WWE Hell in a Cell 2012 preview coming to pay-per-view this Sunday. This is before SmackDown, so there could be possibility again of them adding some stuff. There's only 5 matches on the card that we have here. We're going to run down that card for you going into the pay-per-view Sunday. First matchup, we have the Intercontinental title on the line. One champion, Kofi Kingston, goes up against former champion The Miz. Obviously, The Miz dropping the title to Kofi Kingston on that main event show, I think 2 weeks ago, a week ago, some shit like that, which was a pretty good matchup there. Set that up, had Miz get destroyed in that Trouble in Paradise that he hit on, Kofi hit on The Miz on that Raw, looked all jacked up. Got the win there and won the IC title. Good to see Kofi back in singles, not with Truth anymore. I absolutely hated that tag team. We've talked about it before. Kofi Kingston's great just being a singles guy. The only team I really loved him with was when he was with Punk, but this is great to see him single now with the IC title. I liked, Miz's run as well. Miz is one of my guys, but I'm going to go with Kofi retaining the title here. They're not going to flip it back and forth. They'll probably just keep it with Kofi here and look for, if it does end up starting the card, if they put one of the world title matches or whatever, starting it out, but look for this one maybe to start the show and could, get the crowd pumped up and get the crowd hot and hopefully see some interesting spots here and a nice little matchup here.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense at all to give Miz the title back in this show. I mean, actually, if you think about it, this match really doesn't make any sense because, this is one of those most predictable outcomes of everything on the card. Kofi Kingston's going to have it, could have it for a while. You're right. R-Truth and him had no chemistry.
Garbage.
Just their entrances coming out were just painful to watch. At least Evan Bourne tried.
Like in suits jumping around like fucking idiots.
Yeah. So Kofi Kingston wins this.
Oh, I totally forgot about that team. I liked Evan Bourne and Kofi too. Airborne.
Yeah. But
I haven't seen him anymore.
Well, if he can get off the weed and then get
and not break his leg every time he comes back.
But maybe look for R-Truth to kind of get in there and get turned heel, get the title back, or try and him and Kofi maybe start feuding. Every tag team in the world ends up feuding each other for something. At least they'll have a title to go for.
Sure.
Miz, I don't know where he goes from here. To me, I don't know. The little segments he's been doing between him and Booker T and him, they're just
that first Miz TV with Booker T was garbage. That was absolutely terrible.
They just drag ass, and I'm kind of like
gotta find a way
trending down.
Fill that 3 hours in the Raw. I gotta fill sometime there. But yeah, and that's a good matchup there. Next matchup we have singles matchup between Randy Orton and Alberto Del Rio. I'm actually pretty intrigued with this. These guys have showed chemistry in the past. I think they've had a couple matches in the past, but this kind of put together matchup here, really nothing behind it. I really can't remember how the fuck this got started. Somehow they just basically weren't doing anything and came together. Randy's been making that movie.
So he's been gone.
Randy's been gone, not really doing too much, coming back and forth, doing little matches here and there. And Del Rio, after his garbage-ass feud with Sheamus, which I'm thankful we don't have to see any more of that shit anymore. Get Del Rio on something at least intriguing to me, which in a match with Randy Orton would be pretty solid here. I really don't know who might get the win here. If Randy's going to be coming back and be done here, it probably makes sense to give it to Randy. Del Rio hasn't been doing anything, and every time that they've done this with Del Rio, ever since he kind of fell off the face of the earth and had that injury and then just been plagued by just shittiness after shittiness and gets nothing done, and he'll build himself up. Got that title feud or whatever, did nothing with it, and he keeps getting built back up every single time. They do nothing with him, so really it makes no sense to continue to keep doing that. I guess if Randy's going to be coming back, they probably want to get him back and getting going here, so I guess I'll give Randy the win in this match. Either way, whatever they do, hopefully we could just get a interesting matchup here. I think it could be if they give him the time here, but I'm going to go with Randy getting the win.
I see it a totally different way. Since these Raws have just gotten longer and longer, I'll be honest with you, I've lost my attention throughout the 3 hours. And we went to the first one.
Yep.
That was here in St. Louis, where they went to the 3 hours. I guess it was a 1,000 show.
Yep.
And I'll be honest with you, I was sitting there and I had a good time, but I thought it dragged ass even that day. And they had a ton of people there.
That's still probably the best 3 hour one, the very first one. And
exactly.
Everything else has been
and I told him you need to do. We were talking. I was like, you just need to have a 3 hour Raw right before every pay per view. Go back to 2 hours. You're watering down your product, kind of the same way when a baseball or football team expands, when put new team, you water down the product and your product's not as good. So, but what I've been seeing from Del Rio and him and Randy, and like I said, a feud with Randy being there here and there, not really hitting it every SmackDown and Raw. I thought Del Rio's work in here was really good. The way he mimics the Viper and kind of taunts him that way. I thought that stuff was awesome. Yeah. And
he probably did the best impersonation I've seen. He came out on SmackDown. He did the whole entrance, like slow and shit. It was pretty.
Like I said, I've always liked Del Rio's work. I even though I am good friends with Randy Orton's dad.
He does his lawn, people. He does his fucking lawn.
Hey, me and Cowboy are like this.
Yeah.
Middle of nowhere, he comes up to me and says, "Hey, how you doing?"
"Hey, boy, how's it going out there?" Whatever the fuck he talks.
But I see Del Rio winning this. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense, but I think they go off of something like this. Maybe this goes on an extra.
They'll build them to go nowhere, too, again, I guess. I don't know. Next matchup, we have the WWE Tag Titles on the line when champions Team Hell No, Daniel Bryan and Kane go up against Team Rhodes Scholars. We need to first go back, and we need to give props to our boy Ryan. On, I believe, the Night of Champions review, we tried to come up with team names for Daniel Bryan and Kane, and you heard it here first on the Pro Wrestling Pulse. We had the fucking name on here. He said Team Hell Knows, which sounded retarded because you don't need to plural it, but we had it, and once we saw it on the board of options, Team Friendship, Team whatever the fuck it was, and we saw Team Hell No, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And I text Ryan, I'm like, dude, you nailed it. Were you getting the money from Vince when you had the copyright on that? Need to, it'd be sweet. And Team Rhodes Scholars, which I love the team, hate the team name. That is garbage. Doesn't make it. Stop putting team in front of everything. Just Rhodes Scholars. You don't need to do Team Rhodes or Team 5, Team 6. Just stop doing fucking team names. Just Rhodes Scholars is fine if you want to do that. But I love the combination of Sandow and Cody. I think they do work well together. They got that kind of we're better than everybody else mentality, and it fits well with that. And I think giving more time to them and gaining more chemistry with this team, I think will definitely help them. To young guys that can get in there and go, and getting in there with Daniel Bryan and Kane, this should be some really good stuff. And thank God they won that tag tournament that they ended up running with all those new teams they're putting together, and came down to Mysterio and Sin Cara and Rhodes Scholars, and Rhodes Scholars got the win. I was happy to see that, since they've now kind of flipped Daniel Bryan and Kane face, obviously going off that comedic kind of entertainment kind of aspect, which it's hit and miss for me right now. I love some things that they're doing with it, but there's some things that I'm just getting so fucking sick and tired of. And I knew once that whole Daniel Bryan yes/no thing started, it was going to blow up so much that it was just going to get so fucking old. And it's just so old right now. Every time he just has to go to it, and it's just like, god damn, just stop doing it, because it's really starting to get old now. The fucking shirts, and it's just going off the deep end with all that shit. But like I said, there's things here and there. They'll go a couple weeks, it'll just be like kind of stupid shit, and then they'll do one segment that'll just make total sense, and it's just brilliant. And they'll just do a lot of entertaining stuff, adding in Matt Stryker and the shit they were doing. That dumbass game show thing they did was random, but there's some entertainment segments there. But I look for this to be a good one. Obviously look for the kind of comedic entertainment, kind of random shit with them going against each other, Daniel Bryan and Kane. But I'm gonna have them retain the titles here. I think it makes the most sense. They're probably one of the hottest tag teams WWE's had in a really long time, just of how over they are and their gimmick and everything that they're doing about it. I guess it wouldn't shock me if they did some weird thing where they ended up, I don't know, finally getting fed up with each other or whatever, but I think that's well down the road for that, and giving the titles to Rhodes Scholars. But maybe making a feud out of this. They want to throw Mysterio and Sin Cara in there eventually, some younger teams we haven't seen, primetime players. I don't know, they're only the 19-time #1 contenders for the tag titles and never winning them, but I'm going to go with Team Hell No getting the win in this matchup.
Yeah, I got so much to say. Actually, I was banning myself from the show till they got 671 subscribers.
We're there, aren't we?
Not quite. Because
I'm not looking at that's not a
when they had the other show, it was rolling, they decided, we want to change names. I'm like,
fuck
you guys
that
are
shit. Don't make us heel turn again. My buddy's not here to heel turn with me. We'll do it.
But anyway, this is going to be hard for me to explain this. I love the fact that we finally have a semblance of a tag team division. I think tag teams and factions are what makes wrestling entertaining. You can have your superstars that can hold their own, but man, sometimes when you get more people together, it creates something that's cool to watch.
3B, man.
But I don't like the way they are. Was there a joke I missed there?
There was the fucking McIntyre, Jinder Mahal, and Heath Slater. All
that's
that
actually
shit.
Kind of funny.
That's the most fucking. I swear to God, it's the most random shit I've ever seen. It made it for me that SmackDown last week with Drew McIntyre just screaming into the fucking microphone like an idiot. It's just like. It's just so random. It's hilarious as hell.
But where I'm going is that the way they're doing it, I still think is wrong. Now, don't get me wrong. This tag team that they're gonna, or this between Sandow and Cody, it's going to be a good match. I mean, you've got guys that can work, and it's going to be entertaining, and I'm going to be happy with the results. But the way they're going about building their tag team division is wrong. You have guys like the Primetime Players, semi-new. I mean, obviously some of those guys came up in NXT, but new guys that they're putting together and forming identity together, and then you go off into being singles on your own. But right now, you're putting tag teams together with Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio with main event guys together. I mean, the match that they had between, and like, don't get me wrong, Daniel Bryan, every time he goes out and has a match, I don't give a shit what show it's on. It's going to be good. Yep. But that match between him and Dolph Ziggler on a Monday night was awesome. I mean, I was actually sitting here like, damn, I mean, this is a pay-per-view event I'm getting for free. But that's what I'm saying, is they're putting all these main eventers, and like I said, Cody Rhodes, I don't consider Damian Sandow
yet.
Yeah, but he has the charisma, and you could see it in him.
Great match. Well, he had a great match with Sheamus also a couple weeks ago on Raw, which was really good too.
But that's what I kind of wish they would bring in. Like last time I was on here, I mentioned this. Bring in the new guys, man. Put them together as teams. Let them build themselves as teams, and then you're going to get individuals out of that.
Well, that's a good thing to mention about using main event guys in tag team and stuff. Look at the main event situation for the WWE title right now, where you had a guy injured and they had to go to backup plans to try and figure shit out. And you could have had.
And we'll get to that in a little bit.
We will. And you got all these tag team guys that are, that's true. Filled up with all those main event talent, and like you said, that Daniel Bryan Dolph Ziggler match was fantastic.
Yeah,
nobody would doubt that with the guys who were.
And you're at 3 hours right now. You made a show that's 3 hours long. If you get fed the same shit over and over and over, you're eventually going to get sick of it, unless you put in a new spice, basically. Yeah. But as far as this match goes, I actually want to see Hell No break up. It's like every week now, it's like watching a Sesame Street from hell, where we're learning what no and yes means, and I mean, it's just driving me freaking nuts every time I get started. You can't start it every 40 minutes and just start it over and over. I mean, I literally want to put a bullet in my brain sometimes.
It's good when just Daniel Bryan comes up with his one-liners and just makes fun of Kane for shit and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that's
their
good.
chemistry
Don't just say hell no every
fucking
second.
That chemistry is good, but when you're just going hell no, I'm the tag team champion. I'm getting sick of it. It's too repetitive.
It was funny.
Sandow, Cody Rhodes get a win. I like them. Yeah,
interesting.
And somehow something happens between hell no.
Hell and no. Something happens between hell and no.
Right, so they can sit there and probably do it till WrestleMania.
Do it till WrestleMania?
What?
That's gay. Next up, we have the World Heavyweight Championship in the line. One champion, Sheamus, goes up against the Big Show. Last time I checked, the last couple of Hell in a Cell pay-per-views, they used to have all their title matches in Hell in a Cell matches, because it is Hell in a Cell.
Hell in the Cell.
Hell in the Cell, as everybody incorrectly calls it. It's a cell. But yeah, this one not in a Hell in a Cell, and I just figured this out when I wrote down this card. That makes no sense. Just put it in a Hell in a Cell match. I mean, it makes two big guys and fits for the Hell in a Cell kind of thing, and it obviously will make it better than what it is right now.
That Big Show just knocked that damn thing over.
Just the whole thing?
The whole thing. Like, 15 rows in the crowd.
Hell in a Cell blew over. Yeah, that's great. Because it could only make anything better that I don't give a shit about, because I don't care about this match. Keep throwing Big Show in, and he's just like doing shit here and there. Sheamus continuing his title run since now WrestleMania with just shit after shit, except for the beginning of his title run with Daniel Bryan and that four-way he had and those good matches they had there. And after that, the last 3 or 4 months I could have given a shit about, because that Del Rio feud was just nothing. And, throwing Big Show in here, it's just that kind of almost what you got back a couple years ago with all of John Cena's title runs, where you had him go up against different people and you're like, well, now it's this time. Can he beat the technician guy? Can he beat the high-flying guy? Can he beat the big guy? And this is Sheamus's big guy. And now it's like, can he go in there with the world's largest athlete and beat him at Hell in a Cell? Just that kind of shit. That's basically what you have here. Yeah, they've been having, bro kick and, KO punch contests and figuring out which has the pounds per square inch. Fucking, who gives a shit about that? No one cares. Booker T said it different every fucking time. That is 14 pounds per square inch. It's like, that doesn't, area per code, like we're figuring math problems out.
And you gave me shit about my English accent.
That wasn't a good Booker T impersonation. That was garbage. I'm going to go with Sheamus retaining the title. The Big Show's not going to win the world title here. I really don't know the end game, except for Dolph Ziggler eventually cashing in. I don't know. Sheamus drops to somebody else, so probably Dolph Ziggler cashing in. Dolph Ziggler was talking about, I'm going to cash in after Hell in a Cell, blah, 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 blah. And it made it seem like it was going to be a Hell in a Cell match, because he's like, got to go through that treacherous match. And now we don't know. Fucking might be. I don't know. I looked it up on Wikipedia. Can't trust that shit. Yeah, I'm going to go Sheamus retaining the title, and every single Sheamus world title match, we'll just keep praying and praying that Dolph Ziggler will cash in. So, Dolph, go for it and cash that shit in.
Dude, you got a potty mouth.
Yeah, I do. I get it from him.
If you played a drinking game, every time he cussed, you'd be drunk by the time this show showed up.
I don't drink, so it's all right.
Sheamus wins. I actually like the work the Big Show's been doing lately. His dry sense of, it's not humor, but his dry sense of badass. Yeah. When he just, I mean,
it's kind of like he's the most massive Rick from Walking Dead. He just comes with the most hard-ass lines. Just, I'm going to kick your fucking ass, man.
I love it. I think that stuff's awesome. Sheamus is going to win. Does Dolph Ziggler? No, I don't even think it's too obvious.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Sheamus wins again. But we were there when it started at the Rumble. Justin, if you watch our video of the Rumble video back on the Good Show, the Good Channel, I think you hear somebody crying.
Yes, I was crying.
I think it was something like that.
Absolutely was. Should have been Jericho. Next matchup, we have the main event. It's a Hell in a Cell match for WWE Championship, featuring the now 330-plus day reigning champion, CM Punk, going up against the #1 contender, Ryback. Yep. Let's just go to the beginning of this. Obviously, this was set up. This was going to be CM Punk and John Cena inside Hell in a Cell for the WWE Championship, and I couldn't have been more looking forward to that match. It would have been fucking fantastic. But we had the setup at Night of Champions with the kind of double pinfall finish off that suplex, and kind of Punk sneaking out after all the heelish kind of stuff he's doing, getting that win over Cena in Boston, his hometown, and now it kind of obviously had that natural progression to, all right, we're going to put CM Punk at his odds, his back's to the wall, he can't get out of anything, and he'd have to get inside Hell in a Cell and defeat John Cena. Perfect. It's natural setup, would work perfectly. We had a problem, though. John Cena injured shoulder, had to get surgery on it. We didn't know the time. It was originally going to be talking about 6 weeks or something. It went down to a couple weeks, and they're like, he could possibly wrestle at Hell in a Cell, and had it up in the air, and then a couple weeks ago it looked obvious that they went towards the backup plan and had CM Punk in the back going after Mick Foley when they had that amazing promo that they cut there. That was fantastic what they did on that Raw a couple weeks ago, and had Punk going after Foley and backing off, and had Ryback there. Obviously, Ryback's push to the moon that he's been on, just destroying guys. Obvious connection, a la the Goldberg, and going out there and snorting, puffing, going through his entrance, feed me more, kick, fucking clothesline finish, and that's what he's been doing in about every single one of his matches. And the obvious question comes up: is it time for Ryback? Should he be in this matchup? Has he gained the progression through the push and finally gotten to the point where he's a viable guy to fill in here for John Cena? And my answer is a defiant with an exclamation point no. It is not time for him to be in this matchup. He does not put ass in seats. He is just entertaining to somehow people out there. And I don't know what's wrong with up here to some of those people, because I thought at this day and age in wrestling, we didn't like our intelligence insulted anymore. We don't need to see those generic-ass, stupid characters and, gimmicks and guys coming out, the monster fucking, jacked up dude that just goes out there and destroys people in 5 seconds, destroys the local jobbers and like 5 of them, and everybody wants to feed him more and all this. It's so 1980s, 1990s, just generic BS. I don't want to see it anymore. It's not how the wrestling world works anymore. But people are getting behind it because it's so common. Wrestling fans just stick to something like that. He's a monster. That's a wrestling guy. No, it's not. CM Punk is a wrestling guy. He's a natural character in his personality. That's who he is, just jacked up to number 11. Just that's him. That's who he is. That's who The Rock was. That's who Stone Cold was. Triple H was. All those guys were to the nth degree. That's who they are. That's their personality, but just in a wrestling sense. Not this garbage. We don't need Ry Van Berg coming out in his fucking Rob Van Dam gear, but he looks like Goldberg, and that's our name we had for him. No, not time for him. I don't want to see this, but we are going to see it, unfortunately. And obviously, the first thing to say is the only reason this is going to be good is if CM Punk carries this through this, whatever ends up happening. There could be, whatever could happen during this pay-per-view. This is unpredictable beyond belief what is going to be happening, which is good. If you don't have a top-tier, great, put it on the board, outstanding matchup build for your pay-per-view, at least you made it unpredictable. That's true, because I have no idea what's going to happen. Out of all the previews we've probably ever done, there are so many options they could go with here, because they don't want to... I really honestly, I'm going to put it on the board that CM Punk is walking out of this with the WWE Championship. They're not going to give it to Ryback. I mean, you got to wise up here, people. And they don't want to hurt Ryback's push, but they don't want to drop the title of Punk and make him look like a bitch and all this kind of stuff and back and forth. It's just clashing dynamics that they don't want to go against, and they kind of almost did it themselves because they wanted to put him in this match, which honestly, who else could they? You know, they have a lot of other people. We talked about the tag team guys that are all kind of buried in there, and all the other guys that haven't been doing anything with Punk, and they just kind of threw him in there after this push, and kind of just really intriguing how everything came together and how what should have been is now not what is. But like I said, I'm going to go with CM Punk coming out of this as still the WWE Champion. I swear to God, wait for this review if he doesn't. Because if Ryback leaves the WWE Championship, you will have the most fired up J-Man you have ever seen, ever. Not because Ryback's winning the championship. He may go on to win the world title, whatever. World title's fine. You're not touching CM Punk's WWE Championship run, now going for like the 9th longest over 330 days. Don't mess that beautiful creation up because you just don't do it. So I'm going to go, pray to God, put it on the board, CM Punk retaining somehow, some way the WWE Championship in the match. No clue how it's going to happen, but let's hope for that.
Holy shit. Dude.
I had to get it all out there, man. It was
I thought my breath had died right here.
You probably died in like 5 seconds.
The Rock's coming back at the Rumble, right?
True.
Yeah, CM Punk has it till the Rumble.
Okay. To me, there's 2 people that he could drop the title to. It's either John Cena pre-Royal Rumble or it's The Rock at the Royal Rumble.
I got a scary feeling that he loses it to Rock at the Rumble and then Cena gets it back at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, I mean that's an obvious.
Which I'd be like,
an obvious thing.
Shit,
Yeah,
that would suck. But anyway, you need to lay off Ryvanberg because
no, I don't.
It's not as bad as you think. It's no worse. The Funkasaurus thing, which was crammed
exactly. You may as well, but he doesn't deserve a title match.
No, he doesn't. But this is the backup plan. I still say there could be a swerve in here where John Cena ends up in this match one way or another. AJ will, as general manager,
not.
And by the way,
yay!
I was like, she went back to being doable again because when she was in charge, that was just.
But come on, not Vicky. Just think of something else.
Yeah. Well, she's not
managerial consultant or whatever stupid ass name.
Somehow, I can almost see John Cena in his way into this match. He just seemed like he was ready to go the other night. I don't know how they do it, but they'll find a way. But CM Punk wins this. Ryvanberg's got his place. People are entertained by it.
Get a brain, people.
It's not that bad. I mean, it's got a catchy feed me.
We're going to keep seeing those kind of characters. We're going to see those Brodus Clay feed me s'mores.
I meant to show up some s'mores.
No, what he needs to do is he needs to show me more. That's what he needs to do.
And he could do that. Like you said he has not wrestled in a long match. He hasn't been able to work.
This is his opportunity. I'll give him that. But
so he could do it and be great. So that's why you need to lay off him TC.
True. You never know.
I guess CM Punk.
CM Punk, let's pray to God, everybody out there that retains the championship in this match. Very unpredictable match, I'll say that. We'll see what we get out of that. This will now wrap up our WWE Hell in a Cell 2012 preview. For my father, beat Eddie J, I'm J-Man. Thank you for watching another edition of Pro Wrestling Pulse, the pulse of professional wrestling world.